Hey people, a couple movies ago I was showing the magic spell of how the pyramids were built, but more importantly I wanted you to see the magic spell that destroyed them. And I didn't go all into it because I wanted you to watch this girl's video. She did all the work. Plus this preacher in here, he's too funny. He's in the church Sunday with a full congregation. He's going off cussing, fuck ass nigga, and he ain't cutting them no slack. He's letting them know there's something wrong with your mind and you better ask God to fix it. But at the end of her video, she goes and explains, and then she shows another doctor, and he shows what happened, the disarray of Africa. He says it's because in their native language, he was talking to some of the natives there, and he said they didn't have a word for maintenance. They couldn't keep up what the British left for them. It's a magic spell. It's in the language. You don't have a word for maintenance. And not only that, but they didn't have a concept for maintenance because they didn't have a word for it. So don't miss the movie, and make sure you click on her link below it and watch her movie. It's just too funny, but it's very informative. One of the most informative movies you'll find. And then in that movie, I read this last line of Isaiah 58:14 in the Hebrew. And this movie here is going to be on the Magick and the Hebrew too. And I'm going to read the first couple lines. You know, if you read the last line, it always gives you a clue. And this is going to tell you why they spell Jacob with a Q here in the Hebrew, which is a great magic spell. You remember about the time that Trump got elected and Hillary was complaining that he stole the election? And then you started seeing all these QAnon posts. And I could tell it was poison. I knew it wasn't going to be good. You know, everything he was telling, very believable, I believe it, about the satanic, cannibalistic child molesters. And some of it was stretched a little far, but I had a friend about 2020, and she was all in the queue, and I was trying to explain to her that it's not healthy. It was all disinformation. They were promising you that all these evil people were going to get arrested. They were promising you that Hillary would go to jail for murders and child trafficking. And what tipped me off is when I saw the post that says, hey, we're going to take care of it. You don't have to do anything. We got it. You know, if you believe Epstein's dead, you're part of the Q conspiracy. Epstein walked out of there. He got a face transplant. He's living somewhere else. But it was poison, you know, as long as people are lazy and they knew they could use this. You know, as long as people thought somebody else was working on it, hey, somebody's going to get them, Q's going to get them. Nobody else was taking care of business. Nobody was fixing these wrongs. They all left it to Q to do. You know, all this marching in the street, you know, and flying your flag of support, that's just the beginning of it. You have to finish. All that does, it shows how many people support. Hey, we do have a big group. Now let's do something about it. You know, white man, there's something wrong with your mind too. You're not following through. Nobody's doing anything about it. You know, this is the base word for Messiah. It comes from this USIO. You know, Messiah is from and it's what this says is, why was joke Hebrews? You know, EBRUSN. Why was joke Hebrews in? Their Messiah is a joke. Ain't nobody coming to save you. So I'm going to show y'all why Q wears a tail. Q ain't nothing but a O with a tail. And that's what the word Q means. It means a tail. Had many old spellings, but you know, the K-U-E, the C-U-E, that's the old Hebrew spelling. To put oneself at the end of the waiting line, you know, you're the tail. When you're playing pool, you know, you line up your shot with the cue. A tail, a line, or a vulgar, a cock, or a dick. Ooh, maybe that's a O with a penis instead of a O with a tail. So I read the end of this in the last two movies. 2 movies ago was the best one. I hit the Hebrew mostly, explained it, and I hit the Latin and the Greek a little bit in that last movie. But it ends with, and the acletician held the joke in, the J-O-Q, the joke in of a kick pay who head of her, you know, kicking the ass who's ahead of her. But this here tells where the word Egyptian come from, up at the top of it. And you see it here, the delight. And it starts here, the double I, the first one's A. A, and then the Jeptsun, Egyptian, the delight. And I tell you, this reads two different ways. In one way, you read all the A words backwards, and you ignore this mark, and it says one thing, and you read it both ways, and it helps to catch it. This is for a beggar when, and if you're reading the A words backwards, it's the L followed by the A reads the N. A knot, and not a sack. A sack, this is the word for darkness in the beginning, and it's time for bed. A couple movies ago, about 3 movies ago maybe, I showed about that, and it's not a sack here. But when you're reading it with the mark here, the next word's backwards and forwards, it's, and for a beggar when I'll kiss, the KSET, when I'll kiss it is double K is a KIS, a kiss upper. He's old kiss upper, kissing that ass, a beggar when you ain't got no food, and for a beggar when all a kiss it is kiss upper. Here muffle, lift up your voice, quit muffling over there, MFUL. Here muffle, and so it's a quiet word. And here muffle Q, K-U-E, Q, the tail. And godel, godel is Arabic for screw, the tail screw, homie. The fish, the fish'em, the transgression, a fish is pussy, the fish'em, ancient word for pussy, still used by rednecks today. Hit that fish. Will vite, W-L, will V-I-T, to ask. Ask them in. Will vite. Jacob. So Jacob is the joke in, the J-O-Q, the joke in. And he's also the heel. And that's the joke B, B-H or B-E. The joke be that'em. When the beggar girl comes around, she's hungry. The whole Bible, it's about famine and hungry girls and how to get in their drawers. And for a beggar, when all kiss it has kiss supper. A big kiss up. A kiss upper. Here muffle, a Q godel homie. The tail screw homie. A fish'em will vite. The joke be that'em. The joke about screwing hungry girls. In the last line, it's in the acletician held. The joke in the acletician held. What he's holding is a sandwich, and it's up here in the Greek. The pepitos. The O-I reads as E. Pepito. Pepito, multiple meanings, and commonly referred to a meat sandwich or cream-filled bun. Pepitos, a sandwich made with beef, pork, or chicken, a gold nugget, the payment, a small sandwich with meat. Pepitos. And then shall you be relying upon, and these pepitos, sepi, the ones that come to get the sandwich, this pepito sepi. For a beggar when I'll kiss it is kiss of her. Here muffled Q, godel homie, the tail screw homie, a fish'em will vite, a joke be that'em. Hey girl, I got some of these yummies over here. You want some yummies? I got candy. And so that's what she's coming for, is the yummies, and so a VA, I tell you, it reads as a DE, a TE, or a DE, and a DEW, do, and then the double I, the first one reads a A, and do too, yummy dressing. Would at and track, DRK is a TRK. my ways, your path, your track, and it's a track is where you're going. That's where the track leads to, the track, and my ways. And due to Yummy's addressing would at track, addressing what's where you're going, the reason for, and would to Yummy's yummy. That's why, the reason why, day by day. Due to Yummy's addressing would at track Egyptian, going to Egypt, the Egyptians. And this is, the Egypts, and then the WNC, whence. And you see that in the Latin Bible, whence, as two whence. You see a bunch of lines start with two whence in here in the Latin Bible. And whence, means at that time, whence. Whence, and this is the word for goyim, they say. And it's a G-U, it's a foot too. The foot connected, it means go. And then the I, the yod, followed by the A, reads as a vav, reads as the W, and was, and the go was. The Egypt whence go was. Due to yummy dressing, would at track Egypt's whence go was her. And if a dix, dx, if Dix has. Dix, is the dictator and a hard dick. And if Dick has whom sepet, who H-U, who from sepet, who will take it. All hue, every color, H-I-W, all hue. And N-O-O-Z-B, nose in. And all colors nose in. And Adam knew his wife and nose in. Is all sepet, backwards, if Dix, and then Dicky, the second Q reads as an I. If Dick's dicker but all him gypsin, gyps when you didn't get what you was promised, you got gypped. You got the wrong cue, you got a dick. And you'll see that in the origin of the figgy. I'll leave the links to these on the top of this video here, where I got tipped off in this book of the Chirologia, and he tipped me off that I could find the writings about the old figgy here in Isaiah 58. I believe that was down there at 9. I found it. When you take away from the midst of the yoke and the pointing of a finger and speaking wickedness, and what it means, the old figgy, when you turn it sideways and point at somebody, it means that dude wouldn't mind at all if you screw him in his ass. And so that's what it's saying here. That Q means for queer. That's a dick, not a tail. And due to yummy dress, when would at track Egypt's whence go, was there if Dick's dick has, whom sepet, he's queer. All hue, all shades. All hue nose in. No, N-O-O. Nose in. You'll see that on the Egyptian writing on the wall when he's talking about circumcision. You'll see him hollering, no. And nose in is all when. Is all when septed. Everybody will take it. All when septed. If Dick's dicker but all him gypped when. You got gypped, that's not a woman, that's a man. And from the top, for a beggar when I'll kiss it, is kiss upper, here muffle, Q godel homie fish 'em will vite. The joke be that 'em. They be the joke. Due to yummy dressing would attract Egypt, whence go was her, if Dix has whom sepit, all hue, all shades, all types. Nose in is all, when sepit, if Dick's, Dick's the one who's dictating, who's saying, that's the Latin word for and God said, Dick's, who says what goes on, the Dick has a dick. And from sepit, if Dick's, and it looks like a diff, and an IRNT. If Dick's different, all him a gypswin. And that's the clue. When you start seeing words double up, you're probably reading one of them wrong. And as has her, if Dick has, the one who Dick has, whom sepit all hue, knows and is all, when sepit, if Dick's different, DFIRNT, indifferent, all him gypswin. And so that's why when you look at the Egyptian art, you see all those people that have two left hands. That means all hue. They'll go either way. And in this book, I left a link to it in that movie, The Figgy. But if you look up above, they're just talking about this hand sign, and all the ancient writers, that's what they said it meant. The putting forth the middle finger and the rest drawn into the fist, that's flipping somebody off. That's the coffissum facio. But when you start pointing this finger at somebody, they try to put it nicely, but the notorious effeminacy and luxurious imprudence is what he was talking about in the prophecy of the prophet Isaiah, where he say, if thou taketh away from the midst of the yoke, over here in Isaiah 58:9, putting forth the finger in evil speaking, is talking about a wanton and effeminate person. And Joseph's brothers in Genesis 37:19, and his coat of many colors, and Joseph's brethren towards him showed it. So Q is for queer, and y'all got fucked. Y'all got the Godel homie. And they told you what it was all about. They let you know it's a big Q. And they knew nobody would catch on. Because everybody believes what the patrist says. Nobody ever questions it. But this is what the patrist is reading when he's giving you this line of shit here. And the fish'em will bite. And I'll read on down into these next couple lines and see what kind of sense I can make out of it. And I might cover this whole chapter here, being already covered 4 of 14 lines. I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.